Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. 15 young lives have been lost in a massive fire that broke out at a coaching center in the Purnia area of Aliganj in Lucknow today. Chief Minister Yogi cut short his visit to Aligarh to visit the fire site. Meanwhile, the PMO has announced an ex gratia, 2 lakh for the family of the dead and 50,000 to the injured. The fire broke out in a 3-story building that housed a library, animation center and a pet shop. Siddharth Rege, my colleague, is joining us at this point in time to give us the latest. Siddharth, what do we know so far? The Chief Minister, of course, rushed to the spot, which is highly appreciated. 15 young children have lost their lives. What we really need to understand at this point in time, Siddharth, what kind of a coaching center it was and what was the age range of these children who have succumbed to this fire?
So Vineet, what we are learning is that the age range of these children who succumbed to the fire is 16 to 17. But what I want to focus on right now is this new video that we have accessed that clearly shows you the moment, the fire first struck this building. So what you can see at first glance is fire or the smoke exiting from these windows in this building, which I'm going to help put into context later as well. But what is even more, shocking is you can see these students trying to climb down the building from the 3rd story using a wire that is hanging from the corner of the building, as you can see here very, very clearly. So you see them opening a shaft. There are obviously no windows here, so they're opening this and trying to climb down this wire that has been that you can see going down from the corner of the building. I'm going to play this visual again, so that our viewers can clearly see this. You can see them climb down. There is obviously people gathered down who are helpless because this particular structure, this particular building has no emergency exit. So you can see what the situation would have been inside that this entire 3rd floor where these students were at the gaming zone. And here you can see them, at least 6 to 7 people students climbing down this wire, which in itself is a very, very serious hazard. To put that into context, I'm going to open this image for our viewers as well. But before that, to just show you guys, show the viewers what's happening here. This is the 13-second video that we have accessed here that clearly shows the moment the fire, struck this building beneath.
Right, those are startling visuals that you see, and of course there was still time perhaps when that first image came out of the fire, and as you can see, there is no exit. It's a complete flat out space where there doesn't seem to be any way for these students to go out. Obviously, there seems to be an illegal structure. It does not have the ventilation. It does not have the shafts that are mandated by the civic administrations across the country when it comes to constructing buildings. More breaking news coming in. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is en route and will be in Lucknow soon, is what we are being told. He will visit the spot where a massive fire broke out today, claiming the lives of 15 people. He has conveyed his condolences for the same. Listen in.
परिवारों के साथ है और इसके साथ ही मैं सभी घायलों के जल्द से जल्द स्वस्थ होने की कामना करता हूं और प्रशासन के कुछ अधिकारियों से भी हमारी बातचीत हुई है और तुरंत मैं लखनऊ के लिए इसमें प्रस्थान कर रहा हूं और मैं जाकर स्थिति का जायजा लूँगा। लेकिन जो कुछ भी घटना हुई है बहुत ही हृदय विदारक घटना हुई है। मैं उसके कारण बेहद दुखी हूँ। मैं तुरंत लखनऊ के लिए प्रस्थान कर रहा हूँ। परिवारों के साथ है और इसके साथ ही मैं सभी घायलों के जल्द से जल्द स्वस्थ होने की कामना।
All right, let me also bring in some voices now. Major General Sudhakar Ji, Senior Geopolitical and Defence Expert with us on the program. Group Captain UK Devnath, Defence Expert, also joins us. Ashok Singh, Director of BODMAS Education with us. Dr. Venkatesh Rao, Medical Expert, is also with us on the show. Mr. Vishal Pathak, Disaster Management Expert, with us on the show as well. General Sudhakar Ji, I'll start with you, sir. Obviously, we're not talking about any geopolitics here. We're not talking about any defense deal. We're not talking about the Middle East here or the MOU being signed between the United States and Iran. We are talking about 15 innocent lives lost because of Firstly, mismanagement. Secondly, there's perhaps a palpable corruption in the system, in the administration, which does not make sure that coaching centers, or for that matter, any edifice in the country, has to be, protected against any kind of a fire or calamity. And because of this lapse, we have seen 15 young kids lose their lives. Something similar happened in Delhi also just a few days ago, where a hotel caught fire. What are the first thoughts that come to your mind, sir, when you see something like this happening so often in our country?
Vineet, good evening. Thank you for inviting me for your show. Before I comment on the incident, let me at the outset extend my deepest of condolences for the departed soul in such an unfortunate mishap, and uncalled for, unwarranted, avoidable, I would say, to a large an extent. And I also pray to God for the bereaved family to be showered with the strength to bear this irreparable loss. May God be with them. And I do share the grief that the family members, bereaved members, would be going through. But the whole issue would be justified in our discussion, provided we are able to give some kind of a substantive takeaway as how to prevent a recurrence of such kind of accidents in future. Now come to the incident. First and foremost thing that comes to my mind is that the urban planning is in disarray all over the country, without any exception. I've been to most of the cities in the country. I don't think the urban development center, whichever organization or vertical is supposed to look after, they are doing their job as meticulously as they're expected to, or our policies are actually ill-founded. The policy formulation. So look at it from three different levels. At the strategic level, in every state, there is some level who are actually forming the policy. Intermediate levels, there are the regulators, and the functional levels, they are the implementers. At each of these levels, there are some checks and balances which are missing. In the instant case, looking at the optics or the picture that you have just showed, I personally feel it is absolutely uncalled for. This building has not been planned to any kind of design in keeping with the safety, security and prevention of any mishap. And more so, electric short circuit in such kind of ecosystem should be expected and anticipated. And more than anything else, every city center, every urban development center is supposed to have some kind of a contingency planning, rehearsal. The summer that we know, El Nino is already broken out very, I would say, in unbecoming manner world over. Temperatures are soaring, summers are pretty high and unbearable. And under the instant case, why hasn't, the question that comes to my mind is that the authorities who are responsible for such things, why haven't they been able to visualize? Why people in position of power and authority, why aren't they proactive? So be that as it may, how do we actually address the issue? Firstly, I personally feel we need to contain the situation. That is, we need to salvage as much as possible, rescue people out of danger, take them to the nearest hospital, make sure that they're given medical treatment, their relations, those deceased souls, the relations are compensated adequately, and we stand by the family in hours of grief and pray for the well-being of the rest of the family, and pray to God that the deceased soul rests in peace. That is the first and foremost thing. The second thing is that we need to actually find out the fault as to what has led to this particular accident. That fault finding, identification of the problem is going to be very problematic because and before one issue gets resolved, by virtue of the size of the country and the population and the density of built up areas, there will be a second problem cropping up in the same city. So the attention shifts from one event to another event. Therefore, we need to actually remain absolutely focused and centralized to this particular incident until this issue is resolved in the end. I don't think it will be fair to actually leave it as a second priority issue. Therefore, there has to be some pre-designated people who are responsible and held accountable to address each of the lacunas which have come to notice so that they are not repeated in future. As a lasting solution, the urban authorities, urban development authorities have to be revisited, they need to be reorganized, and addressing all these loopholes so that they are not repeated in future. Back to you, Vinit.
Let me also rope in Mr. Vishal Pathak, disaster management expert, into this conversation. Mr. Pathak, we've been down this road many a times in the past. We will find out the cause of what happened. We will know that this was obviously an illegal construction. There was corruption involved. There were obviously, inspectors who overlooked all that was wrong with this building. Nothing's going to change even after that. Such illegal constructions will continue to exist.
Well, yes, it's very big tragedy. More than 20 years ago, the horrific Kumbakonam school fire shook our nation's conscience. Back then, All India Disaster Mitigation Institute gave us a vital lesson that we must mandate strict regular school safety audit. And here we must, radically expand our definition of school. Like as Sudhakarji mentioned about urban planning, same way learning does not just happen within the traditional four-wall classroom of formal schools. Today, millions of our children spend their days in coaching center, tuition hubs, gaming arenas. So if children are inside a building to learn, that building is a school. And how we can cover under our this policy and planning point is very much important, whether it is lessons from Kumbakonam fire tragedy or recently what happened in Gujarat. So same way our lessons come to that. We must also, it is not only structure, because many times our focus is on the size of the building, but size, is it because of to accommodate more people, or safety is our top priority? So that is also important. We must also implement the core lesson from India's national school safety program. Is not just about structural bricks and mortar. It is required non-structural mitigation, means customized evacuation plan. And does the structure provides that? Does our preparedness plan provides that? And regular student mock drill. We also need to consider here that students jump from first floor and second floor, and how this, not just structure, but it is also about the mock drills and how we discuss this with the student as a important learning rather than just what is available in the book. Thank you.
Group Captain UK Devnath also with us on the broadcast. Group Captain Devnath, you've heard the other panelists, and this is not the first time we all are grappling with a tragedy like this. It's obviously our civilian infrastructure that needs not only upkeep, it needs an overhaul.
Definitely, absolutely shocking and rather avoidable accident once again. Probably time has come that all the civic agencies get together, hold a session to find out what is wrong with our urban planning, or rather lack of urban planning. A brainstorming session will bring out that most of our cities have grown without any planning in a very, very haphazard manner. To start with, there is electrical connections which are wirings, loose wirings from one pole. You can see 20 connections going in different directions. These poles and the loose wire, they also hinder in case firefighters are coming in, fire tenders are coming in. Vertical clearance is not available. In case escape ladders which fire crew wants to deploy, which climb up, which can rise up to a height of 30, 40, 50 feet, they can't deploy because overhead there are dozens of loose wires hanging. So what is required is that awareness is just lacking. It is not necessary that we need real professionals to get involved every time. See, theoretically speaking, yes, every building needs NOC from civic authorities, it needs NOC from fire authorities. Modern technology is required, but simple thing like smoke detectors, it doesn't cost much. Simple things like water sprinklers, it doesn't cost much when you see the entire cost of the project. We have to follow very stringent guidelines make sure that third-party audit is carried out for fire safety and electrical connections regularly after every 6 months, especially in such high-rise buildings. NOC, it is a totally vague concept in India. Users don't know what is NOC, and fire department and civic authorities, they play merry hell with the system of providing NOC. Basic precautions like if it is a hostel, then there should be multiple exits. There should be previously marked places where people can go and slide down, climb down, or shift to another building nearby. Escape routes have to be identified, briefed to the children. Prominent arrow marks must be given that in case of fire, just follow this arrow. Especially, we have to remember that once the fire comes in at night, there is no illumination because in all probability electricity will be switched off. So they have to be, illuminating, luminescent painting must be used to say escape this way. It's very, very sad thing to happen. What is happening? My personal judgment is that probably nobody is bothered. They just couldn't care less attitude. So last but not the least, punish the people who are responsible for auditing such buildings. The fire department, people who have not carried out surveys of these buildings, owner of these buildings who have probably illegally extended the building, owner of these buildings who have probably not taken permission to use the building as a hostel or as a coaching area. So there are many small things, but punishment itself will not work. What you have to do is educate all the educationists. See, many times you'll find these hostel fires, they are there because the educationists themselves are not aware. They're lecturers, professors, teachers, they themselves have not been trained what to do, how to treat the children. Yes.
Right, sir. We have some breaking news coming in. Former Chief Minister Mayawati has called the incident as heart-wrenching. She posted that the fire incident that occurred, resulting in the death of several people and injuries to many others, is extremely heartbreaking. Such deadly incidents are heart-shattering, and they shatter the hopes of countless families. Mayawati also added that to prevent such tragic events, everyone needs to work together. Merely trading accusations will not suffice. And Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav has condoled the fire incident. He wrote that the government must ensure the best medical care for the injured. This is an extremely tragic incident. There should be an honest investigation into the causes behind it. Those children could have belonged to anyone's family. Preventing such heartbreaking accidents in the future should be our collective endeavor. Siddharth Pratap Singh, my colleague, joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Siddharth, अगर आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं? Siddharth? All right. Varsha Shahi also joins us on the broadcast. Varsha, अगर आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं? All right, so breaking news coming in now. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has condoled the deaths in the Lucknow fire incident. He stated, and I quote, "The news of the loss of the lives in the tragic fire incident in Lucknow is extremely heartbreaking. I pray to God to grant eternal peace to the departed souls at His divine feet and provide strength to the bereaved families to bear this sorrow. I also wish for the speedy recovery of the injured." Dr. Rao is also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Rao, well, this is going to take place for a couple of days and then die down. The inquiry is going to be set up. A high-level inquiry, quote unquote, will also be set up. And what next after that, sir? So you're muted, sir.
These things keep happening, and the same story keeps repeating itself. We keep discussing. I like I mentioned earlier on this show, one, there is no fire exit, no fire plan, no care for safety, and we are like this all over India. It's not just Lucknow or Delhi, it is all over India. One, if you see now that we can see the visuals, this building has no setbacks. It is stuck to the next building. in this state of affairs, you will have no escape routes, no ventilation, no light. I'm sure this doesn't meet any building rules of any of these places. And most building rules in all the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities of India, and this is Lucknow is the capital of UP, you will have rules and regulations saying that this is the setback depending on the size of the site, depending on the width of the road, and there has to be access, like I said earlier, to the fire engine, to the hydrant, to an ambulance. None of this will be there in most of these buildings. They will be in crowded areas and they will be stuck to each other. There will be no fire escape. And as we saw in the earlier incidents also, people will be jumping out. If you remember the Delhi incident, the neighbors had brought large cushions and placed it so that people could jump off the window into that. And here you have see people holding on to some what looks like a pipe or a cable and then coming down. This is a sad state of affairs. And whoever gives permission for such buildings to be even occupied, forget coaching classes and hotels and all these kind of commercial enterprises going on. See, the problem with the commercial enterprises, you have the occupancy is very high. If it is just a house, the number of people there will be less. And the number of stories, number of floors of a building is limited by the width of the road to which it is facing. These are all standard building rules. It is not being followed and is not being the municipalities or the corporations which are supposed to look into it are not doing it. There is severe corruption. And now recently our government here in Bangalore has said that you can have 20% extra just by paying a fine. So in short, what does it mean? You can break all the rules, you pay a fine later on and you are permitted. This is exactly what is going on. So you have extra floors, you will have extra risk of a fire in the lower floor killing everyone on the rest of the building. And you saw, we can see in this visual, like I said earlier, there are a whole lot of inflammable materials will be lying all around. And you can see even on the outside of the building, there are all these inflammable things which have all caught fire. And even inside. And people are putting inflammable false roofs, inflammable furniture, and these things are releasing toxic smoke also.
You're absolutely right, sir.
And as has already been mentioned, there has to be sprinklers, there has to be smoke alarms like I mentioned earlier. And who is giving the occupancy certificate for all these people? They have to be hauled up.
You're absolutely right,
building.
sir. Lot to process and lot to in fact understand as to why this keeps happening over and over again. We're going to dip into a short break. Would like to thank all our guests for being a part of this conversation. We'll continue to track this big story today right here on NewsX.